This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It sure is wonderful having you join me here in these online lessons. This is lesson 30 in this mini course on fingerpicking. This is the last lesson in this mini course, so I hope you've been enjoying all these different fingerpicking patterns and approaches we've gone over as far as fingerpicking chords. I love this sort of sound. I love playing this way. I use this all the time, and it also plays into classical playing and fingerstyle playing, so it's a great technique to develop even if you don't like singing and accompanying yourself with fingerpicking or playing songs that have fingerpicking patterns. In this last lesson, I'm going to go over one more way to create variations. So in the last lesson, in lesson 29, I talked about some ways you could take the patterns taught in this lesson and create variations on them. And that's a great thing to do. You can come up with a lot of great patterns. Each one of those has potential to become, or to follow that sort of as the pattern. You could say pattern, I'm using pattern, the same word in two different ways, but sort of as your blueprint and create similar patterns from that. And you can create all sorts of ones. Now, in this lesson, I want to talk specifically about using string sets and moving string sets to create them. So we did that a little bit just a few lessons back. We were working on moving through different string sets with PIM or PMI. So I have right here, if we started with the very first pattern that we started with in this course, PIMA, PIMA. We have learned how we can also move to other positions. Now, we can't move higher in the case of this pattern because we don't have a string for our ring finger to hit. So we can't go up and have our index be on the second string and our middle finger be on the top string because we don't have a string for that ring finger to play. But we can go lower with this pattern. Now, if a pattern didn't use the ring finger, you can go higher, as we've seen. But we can come lower. So my index finger can pluck the fourth string, my middle finger can pluck the third string, and my ring finger can pluck the second string. And I'd have PIMA, and I'm just playing the open strings right here, which creates an E minor 7. Now sometimes we might be playing a chord and we might prefer playing on the inside sound. Any of the chords that have the root on the low 5th or 6th strings, these work great for. So like here's a G or C. Coming to those inside strings is nice. But now a way to create variation is to jump back and forth between the string sets. So this is a little different than what we've done before because we're going to keep the thumb stationary in this case as we move between G and C, but we can move the string sets for the IMA. So on that G chord, for example, if I have my index plucking the 4th string, then my middle the 3rd, and my ring finger the 2nd, I can play PIMA. Next time I could move it to the standard positioning where index is plucking 3rd, middle 2nd, and ring the high string and have PIMA. And if I go back and forth, we get a little bit more voice of the chord. With only 3 fingers and a thumb, we can only ever have 4 notes, but this chord actually could be played with all 6 notes. So by playing it that way, we get more of the sound of the chord coming in arpeggio. It creates a new movement, and it's really nice. You can do that same sort of thing for C. I'm just moving my fingers, but my thumb is staying stationary. Now, with the chords that are only on the top 4 strings, like the D, I can't move higher. I could move lower if I did an alternate bass, but it also doesn't necessarily sound great all the time, but it does work okay here. So I'm going opposite, I'm playing the chord, and then I'm just coming lower with the voicing. But what I would rather do usually with the case of D is just move my thumb, so you have to move it anyway, and then just stay with the chord. It gives us the best part of the chord without repeating the root. So going root and then down to that alternate bass and just alternate alternate on those top 4 strings. So sometimes we have chord progressions that will have the intermix, which I purposefully picked one that does. So we're going to have G, C, G, D, G, C, D, G. We've done this chord progression before, but let's go ahead and play it, alternating the position of those top string, or the IMA, going from the position where we have 4th string, 3rd string, and 2nd string being grabbed, and then up to 3rd string, 2nd string, and top string being grabbed by those fingers. So we'll just go back and forth. Same thing for C. And then when we get to D, we'll just alternate the bass instead. See how that creates a nice, a really, really nice balance of sound as we're playing, with what would seem like our most simple basic pattern we learned first, P-I-M-A. So go ahead and do that with this chord progression, 2 measures per chord. So twice through the P-I-M-A, P-I-M-A. That's 1 measure, so twice of that per chord. 1 and 2 and ready and go and G. Do it 1 measure per chord. You'd have 1, 2, ret T and G, C, G, D, G, C, D, G. So that's kind of nice. Now, if you wanted to, we did an alternate bass with the D because we couldn't move our index, middle, and ring. You could actually do an alternate bass with the thumb on that second one. So when I go P-I-M-A, I could then go up to the 5th string if I wanted to. I kind of think it doesn't work as well to do that, but you could choose to do that if you had a certain chord progression that worked well in. So I've done that there, and now I've taken that new pattern that we created in the last lesson from this as a variation, P-I-A-M, P-M-I-A. So we've got this new pattern, and we could do the same sort of thing with it. So if we start off, we'd have the thumb, and then I'm just plucking open strings here, but we've got the thumb. Then on the 4th string, we pluck with our index. Ring hits the 2nd, middle hits the 3rd, and then we go higher. Thumb again for the bass, and then this time 2nd for the middle, 3rd for the index and ring. So we're going back and forth between those fingers being assigned the strings 4, 3, and 2, and 3, 2, and 1. 4, 3, and 2, 3, 2, and 1. So on the G chord, we would have P-I-A-M, P-M-I-A. See how nice that sounds? And for the C chord, same kind of thing. With the D chord, the only option we have is to alternate that bass between the root and the 5th again. So this may become kind of a little brain teaser as we throw that in, but you have P-I-A-M. Okay, so if we do this chord progression, 2 measures per chord, we'll do this whole pattern 2 times per chord. You have 1 and 2 and ready and go and G. do it one measure per chord. So you'd have 1 and 2 and ready and go and. Kind of tricky, and it's really good, and you can create other patterns like that. Now in the patterns that take up more that are like eighth note based, 8 note, not eighth notes, but they are eighth note based, but 8 notes instead of like P-I-A-M and a 4 note and then another P-M-I-A, another 4 note thing, so we have that thumb happening again. But in the ones that take up a whole measure, you could actually alternate measures if you had chords lasting for more than one measure. So there's other ways to think about it. Same thing like 3/4 time, one measure do it one way, the next measure do it another way. So, but especially with these ones where you just have like the 4-note plucks, it works great. And you could turn this into a 16th note thing, and you could have it being 1E and a 2E and another couple measures going. So lots of ways to play with that. Creates really great sounds. I hope you've had a great time with this mini course. You can check out other mini courses, other lessons and the quick answers, the full Guitar 101 courses that are out there, and the different lessons we have. We've got lots of different courses, lots of different lessons in this online academy. You can also check out the method books and the different repertoire and so on that we have. So have fun, keep at it, and we hope to see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.